Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and start doing some guitar exercises. Welcome to Musical Morning, or Musical Mornings, actually, because this is a 5-day-a-week show where I provide a new technical exercise, a new music theory quiz, a new sight reading exercise, both for the guitar as well as just rhythm, and then a small composition prompt. This is a routine that everyone should get into if they want to become very, very good on guitar. I'm very excited about this show particularly because it holds me to that routine as well. So let's all get together in the mornings and spend some time getting better at music and guitar as a community. So real quick, I've got to do the legal stuff. If you guys want the PDFs, you can download those as a dojo member. You can check out in the description below a link to the dojo. I put all my PDFs. Anybody that donates to me monthly can get my PDFs. Also, if you want to purchase the book, I'm putting out these exercises, a new book of exercises every month. This is Musical Mornings Volume 1. We're going off of course, Episode 12. Or if you want to become a dojo hero, which is under the memberships, I will send that book to you every month in the mail. That's $25 a month if you guys want to join away. Now, all my legal obligations are fulfilled, so let's move in to getting better on guitar. Go ahead and say good morning, everybody, in the chat. I like everybody to talk. Ingy, good morning. Good morning. I listened to the blues thing that you posted, and that was really very, very cool. I've never heard quite a take like that on blues. If anybody's interested, you can see Ingy's link on my blues lesson. She linked to, I can't remember the fella's name, but he was very, 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 very talented, and he's a guitar teacher from Turkey, apparently. So very cool, Ingy. Thank you for sharing that. Let's start with technique. So the first part of every musical morning is a new technical exercise. Let me know how you guys like this camera angle. I'm kind of playing around with it. Again, this is season 1 of the show, so there are improvements to come. Just let me know how you guys like it. So here we go. We're going to be doing the C major scale in thirds to warm up today. Now, with the right hand, just alternate index and middle, or do just your thumb. I like to do just my thumb a lot with these, but also alternating index and middle is good. So the C major scale, of course, if you need to know what scales are, check out my hour-long music theory video, is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C again. Now when you're doing this in thirds, instead of doing the scale straight forwards and backwards like we did last Wednesday, we're now going to skip a note and then go back and then skip a note and then go back and then skip a note and go back and then skip a note and then go back and then skip a note, and then we end up on our tonic again. And then we're going to do the same thing backwards. So we're going to go backwards, skipping a note, and then we're going to go forwards one and then skip a note backwards, right? Forwards one, skip a note backwards, right? Forwards one, skip a note backwards, right? Forwards one, skip a note backwards, and then we're back on our tonic again. So we get C, E, D, F, E, G, F, A, G, B, C. Let that ring out for a moment, and then we get C, A, B, G, A, F, G, E, D, or F, D, C. And something that's actually pretty challenging is just to be able to call these notes out while you're playing this exercise. So let's do that one more time. We have C, E, D, F, E, G, F, A, G, B, C, and then C, A, B, G, A, F, G, E, F, D, C. All right, guys, so there's our warm-up. Spend some time with this. All these technical exercises, we go through them pretty quick on the show, but it's totally intended for you guys to sit down and really nail these things. There are a lot of musicians out there that practice in a way that your technical exercises have to have a variance, but there has to be enough repetition. So we're one new exercise every day. So today's music theory quiz, guys, is a chord quiz. I'm going to make this the full size of the screen. I'm going to give you guys a couple moments to go through this. Now, this is a little bit more of a difficult chord quiz than last week. I'm trying to make things very, very progressive. Urbano, good morning. Good morning from the United States. Urbano's from the UK. So we are having a number of accidentals in these chords. Now, do your best to identify and play these chords. We're going to go through them one step at a time. The most important thing here is that you stick with it. You may not get all the answers correct, but if you do these musical mornings every day for, let's say, the next year, these types of quizzes will get much easier. I'm going to explain what each chord is and where to play it and why it's called what it is here in about 30 seconds, but I want to give you guys a few minutes to look through this. Definitely pause the video if you need to. Now, guys, this type of quiz is designed to make you very, very good at sight reading. When you're sight reading, you're not just reading notes. You should be trying to think, what are these notes and how? Oh yeah, Dylan, my voice is always out of tune. So here we go. We're going to be trying to understand the chords that we're playing. So let's begin. Urbano says classical guitar is the mother of technique, and he's absolutely right. He's completely right. All right, guys, so the first chord, we have C, E flat, G, and another C. That's a C minor chord because the E is flat. Now you're going to be able to play that C minor chord right here. So we have C, E flat, G, C, C minor. Let me check. Yeah, I mean, it might be my microphone. I don't know. It sounds in tune to me. Okay, so here we go. We're C minor. Next, we have E major. Right, so this is played in first position. We have E, B, E, G sharp, B, E. Now, this is E major because we built it off of the E major scale. Right, our G is sharp here, and we're taking every other note from E. So E, G sharp, and B, whereas E minor would be G natural. If you guys need more instruction on how to identify the chords based off of what notes you're using, check out Music Theory in One Lesson. Next, the third chord, we have F, A flat, and C. So our A flat here is first fret of the G. Now, an F major chord is generally F, A, C, right? And taking this middle note, the A, and making it an A flat is going to make it F minor. F, A flat, C. And remember, we're taking every other note from the root in terms of the alphabet. So if we do F, G, A flat, right? B, C. So if we're taking every other note, it gives us F, A flat, and C. The fourth chord on the first line is a B flat major, and you can play this as a first position bar chord right here. Now with this bar chord, it's a little bit stretchy. Some people like to use the third finger as a bar there. I don't really do that. I like to make all my fingers go over here, but we have B flat first of the A, F, B flat third of the G, D, and then another F there, right? So now B flat major, again, if we're taking every other note from the root, it's B flat, D, F. So B flat, C, D, E, F. That is a B flat major chord. Okay, next, the fifth chord of the first line, we have an A major chord. And this one's in fifth position. This is this big old bar chord right here. So we have A, E, A, C sharp, E, A, C sharp, and E. The A major chord is spelled A, C sharp, E, built off of the A major scale. Next, we have F major right here. This is another 5th position chord. This is kind of that C shape moved up, so your pinky is on the 8th fret of the A. Your 3rd finger is on the 7th of the D. Your bar is getting 5th of the G. 2nd finger 6th of the B, and the bar hits the 5th of the high E there. F, A, C. F major. And remember, F minor was that F, A flat, C, the 3rd chord. So F, A, C, not A flat, is F major. And that one is played in 5th position. Next, we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th chord. That's a D major chord here. Now, that D major chord is played in 5th position as well. It's that same shape that we had with the B flat. So, Urbano, I'll answer actually that question at the end of the lesson here. So, we have D major, we have D, A, D, F sharp, A, right? Sorry for the buzz note right there. We have D major. That's D, F sharp, A. Of course, taking every other note from the root based off of the D major scale. Next, we have our G minor chord. Second to last chord on the first line. We have G, D, G, B flat, right? We're taking every other note from the root using the G minor scale. A G major would have a G natural in it, right? So this is the G minor here with the B flat, that flat 3rd. Next, we have an A7 chord, A, G, C sharp, and if we wanted, we can add the E in on the D string to still keep an A7. So some chords with these 7 chords, especially, you can leave a couple, like one of the notes out. Oftentimes, it's the 5th. So with A7, we have A, C sharp, E, and G. So that makes an A7 chord. I left the E out and just did A, G, C sharp. Usually the 5th, so the 5th is that 3rd note up from the root. So we have A is the 1, C sharp is the 3, E is the 5th, G is the 7th. So A, C sharp, E, G for A7. First position, you can play that first position, but you could also play this in 5th position, right? If you do, so we had open G and 2nd of the B, and here we have 5th of the D and 6th of the G. All right, guys, so first chord of the 2nd line here is a C sharp diminished. So we have C sharp, open G, and E. Now, these diminished chords, they're a little trickier to spot. Now, you're taking every other note from the root, but it has what's called a flat 3rd and a flat 3rd and a flat 5th. So C sharp major is C sharp, E sharp, G sharp. So the 3rd and the 5th are both flat, right? And it's actually it's a very dissonant chord, and it actually wants to resolve to a D major chord. So those diminished chords are good for creating tension and resolving that tension. Okay, guys, next we have an E minor chord. This one's in 1st inversion, right? So remember, the root does not need to be the note at the bottom. On the top line, I made sure everything was in what's called root position. On this 2nd line, we have inversions. So this is an E minor chord, E, G, B, but the G is at the bass, and this is the easiest one to play. You can just play your G, B, and E strings open. That's an E minor chord. Next, we have another G minor chord. This time around, we took the G and put it on the low E string. And we have our B flat, 3rd of the G, and D, 3rd of the B. That's our G minor chord. All right, guys, next we have an F7 chord. That's F, A, and E flat, right? So we have F, 3rd of the D, A. We're missing the C, which, like before, we're leaving the 5th out, and then our E flat is 4th of the B. There's our F7 chord. After that, we have a D minor chord, B minor. So what we're going to be doing is moving it right here. So we have open D. This is in 1st inversion. So we have D, B, D, F, and actually F natural. So this is B diminished. My bad, guys. So we're actually grabbing the 1st fret of the high E. For some reason, I was thinking we're in a key signature, but we're not. So we're having D, B, D, F. This is a B diminished chord with D in the bass. right, guys, next we have A, E, C sharp. This is A major. Now, I'm not hitting that G string. Some of you might think that, oh, that's an A7, but I'm just not hitting the string. So A, E, C sharp, A major. Now we have next G major in first inversion, B, second fret of the A, open G, and then third fret of the B for our D. It's a G major chord with B in the bass. Next, we have C sharp minor. Okay, so C sharp minor, based off of the C sharp minor scale, taking from C sharp every other note up, we have G sharp, C sharp, and E. So you can play that in first position, first of the G, second of the B, open E. But you can also grab it up here, so 6 of the D, 6 of the G, and 5th of the B. So with these chords, take them elsewhere other than just first position, guys. All right, guys, next we have F major. This time, it's kind of like the F major from the other line, but this time around, we're just leaving a lot of the chord out. So we have our F on the 8th of the A, F on the 6th of the B, and our A on the high E. And again, we're missing the C here. If you wanted the C, you could throw it in on that G string. Okay, guys, last chord identification problem. We have C, E, A, which is our A minor in first inversion. Just like that, A minor in first inversion. So just so you guys know, if you download the PDF, you get the nice answer key here. And it looks like actually maybe I have an error I need to fix on that answer key. Sorry. Okay, so we're doing rhythm sight reading next. Sight reading is a very, very important skill. It helps to be able to clap and drum the rhythms on your guitar without worrying about much else. So I'm going to hold my guitar up here, and I'm just going to hit my guitar on the side like that for the rhythm. This is in common time. We have a bit of what's called syncopation here. We're going to be coming in on the and quite often here. There's 4 beats per measure, guys. If you need a little more instruction on how to count rhythms, you can check out my Rhythm Made Easy playlist on my channel. All right, guys, so I'm going to count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay, one more time, maybe just a little bit quicker this time around. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4. All right, guys, so there is our rhythm sight reading. Remember, it really helps to step back and clap or drum a rhythm without actually having to worry about the actual playing of the guitar while you're doing it. All right, so let's move on to sight reading. I'm going to maximize this here. I'm going to give you guys a moment to look at it. This is a really fun sight reading exercise. One of the things to be aware of here is the picking pattern. I'm going to show you the picking pattern before we go into playing this thing. This is a little bit more of a complicated reading exercise than last Wednesday. I'm trying to make this progressively more difficult. Hello, Tristan. How you doing? Thanks for joining us and saying hi. This is a really, really, really pretty sight reading exercise based off of a lot of pieces on classical guitar that are in E minor. So this uses the E minor scale, starting on the 1 chord, second measure there. It goes to the 4 chord. After that, we're back to the 1. Then we go to 5, and then we go back to 1. How you doing, Tristan? It's nice seeing you. All right, guys, let's take a look at this one step at a time. If you need any more time to sight read this, please pause the video. One of the cool things about YouTube, it can be live, but you can also pause it so you can take your time to actually absorb these exercises. So let's just go through this one step at a time. First, I'm going to point the camera at my right hand here. So I have a picking pattern here going on. So we're getting thumb, middle, index, right? But when we hit that index, we're actually going to grab our ring. So thumb and ring at the same time, middle, and then index and ring. So we get bum, ba, 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 ba. All right, so now let's actually move the melody there, so that we actually play the piece that is written here. Now what we want to do is we want to start up here on this high B. So we have 1, and then we go down to a G, 2, and then you're going to bring your index back up to that B, da, 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 and then we're going to get our pinky for the D, right? So we get 7th fret, 3rd fret, 7th fret, and then 10th. So we get bum, So let's talk about this second chord. We get a 5th position half bar, 7th fret of the high E for the B. So we get thumb on the open A as well. Same picking pattern. And then our melody goes down to the 5th fret, and then back up to the 7th, and then the pinky. So after that, we go back to the first measure. Oopsies. After playing the first measure, we're going to go down to a B7 chord. We're leaving that D sharp out. You don't really need to play it. So we get pinky, 2nd of the high E, open B, 2nd of the G, and 2nd of the A. And we're getting that same picking pattern. So we get F sharp, 2nd fret, and we come out to the 3rd fret for the G, then open E, and then we get back to the F sharp. So check this out. We get... Thanks for joining us, Josh. It's nice to see you. Here we go. One more time through this, and then we're going to turn this into a small composition exercise so you guys can put your own stamp on this. So we have... Oopsies. Make sure to get this. So I kind of made a boo-boo on this shift, right? But you really have to, when you get to these sight reading exercises and you make a mistake like that, you want to stop and just really nail that one part. So what I do is I actually take tick marks. And so I made a mistake there, right? And what I would do in my own personal practice is say, all right, I'm going to play this 25 times really well. And until I do that, I'm not moving on to anything else, right? Now, during the show, I'm not going to make you guys watch me, but definitely, when you're doing this stuff, this is all sight reading exercise for me too. I mean, I write these down, but I don't play them till we're really maybe 10 minutes before we get on air. So, I might make some mistakes here, and if I point them out, then I'm going to show you how I would personally fix them in my own practice. So I just did it a few times, so then what I would do is come back in and see if I can manage to get it the next time. See, better. Not perfect, but better. Alright guys, here's one of my favorite parts of every show. Those of you that have joined me on a regular basis know what we're doing now. We're going to take the thing that I wrote for sight reading, and I'm going to show you how I can noodle around with this, and I want you guys to noodle around with it too. One of the things about this sight writing and sight reading is it makes you get really much better at this stuff when you both read and write. It's just like in school, they teach kids to read and write for a reason. So I want you guys to take these exercises and really use them as an excuse to get some writing done. By the way, if you write something that you really like, it's all yours. It belongs to you. You don't need to give me any credit. All you need to do is keep writing. But one thing I would love is if somebody writes something very, very pretty, please post a video and share it with me. As a teacher, there's nothing more special to me than seeing my students do well. So please, if you guys write something using this, just share it with us. I would love to see it personally. So we're in E minor here, and what I did is I started with the first chord, and the melody is actually just basically an E minor, or a G major chord, but E minor 7 chord. That's that D making it a 7, right? So the melody goes B, G, B, D, right? And I think that's a pretty standard kind of Spanish sound. We could, if we wanted, bring it up, and it probably might sound a little bit more Spanish if we went to an E instead of a D, but I just like the D. So after that, in the original one, I went to an A minor chord, which is that 5th fret. But we really don't need to go to an A minor chord if we don't want to. We could go to a number of other chords, and it might not be a bad idea to maybe try out, let's say a D major, or even if we wanted a D7, and see what kind of sound we get out of that. So if we went to a D major and we stayed in that first position, we could quite easily get all the notes that we need, and right, and I think it sounds just great. So if we did like a and then, but that's we'll get to that measure after. So let's do the D7. I like that. I just tried it out and I thought, geez, that sounds really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this over. I'm using Sibelius, guys. If you guys want me to drop a link on what software this is, I will. Sibelius runs about $700, so if it's an expensive piece of software, but if you guys want to know where to get it, I can certainly help you with that. So what we need to do is I need to change my chords around so that we actually get a D major. Now if you guys recall, D major is D, F sharp, and A. Now I'm going to keep that same melody, but I'm going to change these here to D and F sharp. So I'm going to bring this up to F sharp and this up to D. And I'll show you where to get this in terms of fingers once I turn the camera back on me. And then I'm just going to bring all of these up to match it. I want to bring that up to A. I want to bring this back up to B, so that works. Let's get that D and F sharp. And then this is going up to a C. And that C is going to give us a D7 chord. And actually what I'm going to do is change the bass note here to a G major chord, because D7 actually happens to be the 5 of G major. And I'm going to kind of change the melody around just a little bit here. And when I show it to you guys, you'll say, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That seems like a good way to do it. So I'm going to bring that to an A. Francisco Tárrega is a composer that used this kind of stuff before. I don't want to make the stretch too much, though. So let's just go A and G, A and G. So when we resolve that, what we get is... So overall, with this new version, and then we're going to come back down to a D. So ba dum ba ba da da ba da 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 da. And then what we're going to do is move down to a G. And then after that, why not back to a D7? And we're going to change that last chord to a G. So we're starting off in E major and ending in G, which I think has got a pretty cool sound to it. So I'm going to copy this measure over, and then we're going to take care of your questions, and then I'm off on a walk. So we're going to do F sharp here, and then C and A. So this is our first position, D7. And I'll show you guys where to put your fingers here in a moment. Appreciate any patience that I can muster. Back to F sharp, down to C and A. Now remember D7, D, F sharp, A, C. We're going to do this as an open E here. C, A, down to E. And actually, let's bring that part up to F sharp. So that last measure would be... So let me run you through this real quick, guys, so that we can learn to play it, and then I will take care of a couple of the very short questions. All right, back to camera mode, and then I gotta look at the sheet music. Okay, guys, so we're starting off here, just like we did last time. So we have... And then we're gonna come back down to a B and grab the open D, and then this is going to be the 7th fret for the F sharp and the D, and then so with that same picking pattern, ba da da, and then grab the 5th fret with our index, back up to the 7th fret, and then up to the C, and then what you're going to do is you're going to move your pinky back. It's a bit of a stretch, so we're going to get 7th of the high E, and then 3rd of the low E, and then 2 open strings, and then back to A. And then what we're doing is we're going down to D7. So we have that same picking pattern. We go F sharp, up to G, 3rd fret, down to F sharp, open E, and then F sharp, up to G. That's our 3rd, open, open, 3rd. And actually, let me change that last bit. I accidentally moved it up to a B. So there is our sight writing exercise for the day. Sight writing is a lot of fun. So here we go. Oh, Tristan says he might come take some lessons. Very cool, Tristan. I would be glad to have you. I think your folks probably tell them to find my new phone number if they look up my lesson studio. All right, guys, let's take care of questions here. So we had one question from Urbano, sorry. It was about how to keep the pinkies perfect and how to get your fingers perfect so you with the bar chord. And what he was referring to was this chord here, which is a tough chord. One of the important things about this is that your thumb is kind of in between here. So see, if you see, my thumb is actually not over here by the index. One of the hardest things about bar chords is to teach yourself not to squeeze. What you want to do is you want to place your fingers very well, and then all of your pressure for the bar can come from your arm. And you want to polish it off maybe with a light squeeze, but you want to position them first, and then you can kind of use a little bit of a twisting motion of your hand to get some pressure, a little bit of a pull, kind of like hugging your guitar into you, and you can get quite a lot of finger pressure that way. And if you see, my thumb is back there, I'm getting all my pressure, not from my thumb, but of course, there is a little bit of squeeze involved, so don't pull so hard that you're going to break your guitar. Just polish off what extra pressure you need with a slight squeeze, but you want the squeeze to be very light. I mean, it's the very last step. You have to actually position your fingers nice and close. You're stretching with your index, not the other way around. Not going to the index and stretching with these. So I hope that helps. So let's take a look. Yash. Well, hey, thanks, Yash. I was sitting down writing the next episode to that blues series this morning, so I hope to have another lesson out within a week from today. We're actually going to be looking at a lot of Robert Johnson's music and the building blocks, and I'm going to be taking quite a few of his songs and taking them and boil them down to a simple thing, and we're going to make variations outside from there. So cool. I'm glad to hear everybody likes the blues lessons. I'm having fun. The purpose of that series is, like, I'm a classical guitarist. I'm not the world's best blues player, so I'm writing exercises for myself so that I can get good at the blues fingerstyle, and I'm sharing those exercises with you. So, and I want to build my skill based off of Robert Johnson, who I consider to be, at least I think, is probably the coolest dude ever. So Tristan, my email is ross@musicandguitarlessons.com. All right, so it looks like all the questions are handled. Guys, I'm going to be here tomorrow morning. Musical Mornings is a daily exercise. That's where all of the value from this comes. So check it out. If you guys want the PDFs, join the Fretboard Dojo. You can also get all the information on my books and my website, musicandguitarlessons.com, down below. All right, guys, I'm off to the races.